But you still don't pay me no attention. But you still don't pay me no attention. But you still don't pay me no attention. Listening to what your girlfriend's mentioned.
Now the moment had arrived, I was going over lines. She was hula hooping with her friends at the time. I handed her the letter and she gave me an eye and said, "You got the cooties, so my letter passed me by." I was tongue-tied. No, this chick didn't try. Plus she ripped the dollar cause the dollar was inside. I was so embarrassed, but the player didn't cry cause Michelle said I'm cute. I just smiled and fixed my tie. Let's go.
But you still don't pay me no attention. 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 Listening to what your girlfriend's mentioned.
Check out my rock bill. When I'm stepping, this is love powder, ayy. I'm flexing, boom, boom, boom. Smith and Wesson, boom, boom, boom. Smith and Wesson got my rock bell wearing. Got your bitches there, rock bell wearing. Got your bitches there, rock bell wearing. Got your bitches there, rock bell wearing. Got your bitches there. It's a rock bell, it's a BB. It's a rock bell, it's a BB. It's a rock bell, it's a BB. 200 on this, she can't see me. Hey, little bro, and your man wanna beat me. Say he want beef when I see him Peachtree. Hey, yo, dip, eat me just like some tacos. Hey, splatter me like some nachos. Hey, she grab a poncho, bitch, cause I'm finna make it rain. But don't get nothing on my BB check, cause I'm walking around town with my BB. Bitch, I'm just this little powder and you see me. And the diamonds in my teeth go bling bling. And the diamonds on my teeth go bling bling. Hey, just got my rock bill. When I'm stepping, this is love powder, ayy. Flexing, boom, boom, boom. Smith and Wesson, boom, boom, boom. Smith and Wesson got my rock bell wearing. Got your bitch there, rock bell wearing. Got your bitch there, rock bell wearing. Got your bitch there, rock bell wearing. Got your bitch there. It's a rock bell, it's a BB. It's a rock bell, it's a BB. Girl, your silhouette.
You are listening to the Silhouette Production.
Must be an angel. They said you wasn't working, but I knew you'd be working. But I've heard some, but don't even know how. Though I look rough, don't mean I ain't fine. If you're ready, then I'm ready to. The look in your eyes is more than you have to say. Just lead my way, and I'm following you.
Special guest here today. Hop royalty, you know what I'm saying? Legend. Straight legend, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, boys. Another level again. Yeah, man. Good things popping at the mess as always, man. Okay. bro. That's the man to talk to right there. Rich know what's popping in the city. Cap City.
You say, you know I don't believe
Yeah. Friday. I'll see what's going on Friday, but they like artists in the city is going to move around. Do some business. We in the studio right now, so you guys contact me via phone, contact me
however you want to do it.
My phone number is 614-704-3454. 614-704-3454. You can also follow me on Instagram at Slumwood Studio. We also got Bill Sun in the building, Block Page, and we have YouTube, and follow me on SoundCloud. Outside the
For sure, I like Hey. That's Young No for short. And yeah, I make music in my own just a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff. And like Fair Direct, a lot of stuff. I have visuals that I released like 4 weeks ago, 13,000 views. It's called Reverse Fake. It's on YouTube right now, on Elevator channel. And we have a project on the way too. And that's pretty much it. Me, my popular project and my solo project. It's in the works. That's all we got to.
You got a project coming?
We got a project coming.
I know that's gonna be true.
See the check.
See the check.
I like
That's
that.
hard.
I love that.
Go with it too.
You got some big shoes to fill there.
Oh yeah, it's some.
See, I almost jumped in this interview. How you working with your son?
Yeah, we about to get into
New
it.
flavor.
Y'all can ask questions or whatever. We got an open format right now. Anything you guys want to hear about, like last night, we were sitting in the studio and we got huge mention on MSNBC. You know what I'm saying? We're basically saying that President Donald Trump, his mind was playing tricks on him. It was kind of like they felt like he was like Bushwick Bill, pounding his fist on the concrete, fighting someone that he ain't had to fight. You know what I'm saying? And they used
Oh man.
So it was a fly moment that tell you how hip hop influenced even those kind of situations. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we're gonna make sure we kind of like pay homage to people like this that actually paved the way to the entire Southern. You know what I'm saying? My first national show was with the Ghetto Boys at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh when they were coming into our market, and for them to headline a major Pittsburgh city, a major East Coast city, was unheard of at the time, because if you didn't come out of New York, you know what I'm saying, then nobody really know who you was, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? So the Ghetto Boys was a big deal for me. So coming in contact and running them here was a big deal for me. But more than anything else, like I would ask you, like here in Columbus as a media outlet, you know what I'm saying, what do you guys feel that we could do to try to help you guys out? So we can kind of get that, what we're doing here, so you can find out what we're doing, so we can do what we do, y'all can do what y'all do. You feel what I'm saying?
Dope. Yeah, we can definitely get into all of that. And so
Ray Deuce know my pedigree. He used to record in my studio, one of my first studios back in the day.
This man go back, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we go back. So you already know, y'all welcome to a special episode of the Loud and Clear Show, live from the WDG Underground Station, you know what I'm saying? So we got, without further ado, we got hip hop royalty in the building with us today, none other than hip hop legend Bushwick Bill from Ghetto Boys fame and all of that good stuff. So welcome to the city. Welcome to the city show. Yeah. And we also got the seed of Chucky in the building with us too. We got the young homie YK in the building. And so we got a legacy thing popping off today.
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yeah, that's what's good, man. So what's up with you, man? Tell us a little bit about what you've been up to. We all know you from, what we know you from, obviously, hip hop legend, Ghetto Boys, and all of that. But so let's just start with what brings you in the city of Columbus.
Well, personally, I came down here to for Halloween weekend with Boss Lady from the Social Club Lounge, over there, and I wanted to do some music, And my son had some stuff he had to finish, and we ended up at Slumlord Studios, and and I understand quality music and dedication, so it's like anything can sound good and look good until the veil is lifted, the smoke is cleared, and you realize that the stripper doesn't look as good with the lights on. You know what I'm saying, basically.
Right.
And that's what most people are to me. It's like they keep a like certain aura about themselves that gives them a certain prestigious facade and all the other little things that make them seem important. But the real importance is decency and respect. If you could have common decency and you could respect yourself enough to respect other people, then that's the best human being you could possibly be.
Wow, dope, man. And so, well, also, we're going to talk to your son here as well, young YK. And so, what's this, just so I can get this out the way, I'm not going to ask you too many Ghetto Boys questions, because I know you probably get a lot of those.
Nah, yours might be different. Don't deny yourself the right to ask a question. It can only be answered other night.
All right, well, that's what's up. All right, well, I'm just going to go ahead with it. So, is there what's the future of the Ghetto Boys? Can we look forward to any sort of reunion album at any point in time?
Honestly, if you really look at, other than when we were consistently on Rap-A-Lot putting out records, if you notice, we never dropped a record every year.
Right.
It was always a distance between the last record. So in doing that, members have changed, you know what I mean? And each person's solo career is doing good and whatever their other different endeavors are. So Face is on tour with several acts right now, national acts, and then Willie D, he boxes and he trains boxes, and he got his Willie D Live with his political point of views and his attributes to the things that he feels is concerning to him. And me, my whole thing is I just want my kids to be happy, and my thing is that a man don't have to gain the world and lose his soul. And I prayed a simple prayer when I was in Bible school, not knowing I'd become a famous rapper months later, but I just asked God not to make me too rich to where I forget him and too poor where I have to steal, and I just stay in my content environment.
Dope. All right. And so let me bring your son in also. We won't forget about you. And so how long you been rapping? Start there.
First time ever in the studios with my pops when I was 5 years old. First time ever recording. I don't remember what I said, he know. Actually taking it serious, my own time, my own sessions, my own music. I was eighth grade when I started recording my own music, and I'm working in. And I've been writing since I was 7 years old, and I started from poetry, converted over to music, of course, and hooks and all that. But I started poetry first.
All right, and so now I know you're probably too young to actually grow up on, Ghetto Boys like I did.
I was born in '96. I was born
right.
5 years after the We Can't Be Stopped album. So.
Okay, but what do you how do you feel about following in your father's footsteps as far as legacy? Do you feel pressure?
No, because the way I went about things, I paved my own lane. I've literally probably only did 3 shows with my dad ever my whole career. All my shows I've done literally been by myself, booked in different states, toured in Florida, did shows in Santa Monica, Cali. I've been all over, on my own. We recently started traveling, moving together. And that's why we're working on a project now, because I already built my name to a certain stature to where it's understood I don't need help. I can do it by myself. So
okay. And so is the Rap-A-Lot family involved?
It's always love and respect forever. That's family regardless. They always gonna look out for me, make sure I'm straight, but anything else besides with music, I'm gonna do that myself. I'm gonna take care of that. But I got the backing of them regardless, because that's just born in the family, it's a legacy, it's passed on because all the hard work my dad has already done. It's already been instilled, and so it's a legacy thing.
All right, well, dope. And so y'all got collab on any projects or any songs yet?
Yeah, we already have a song. We finished up. We finished a couple tracks already, but one of my favorite songs right now, we have all the majority of tracks are produced by Moose. He produced majority of our project right now. So we working on that and really picking through features and other hip hop producers that would fit what's going on and that my pops know has history with. So we implement those and put those that basically the class barrier between the younger audience and the older audience. I'm gonna put mix that together because that's the big thing going on right now. It's a lot of older audiences feel the artists are mumble rappers, this and that, but the game's changed to the fact that now you can literally be independent artists and make 40 bands a month just off streaming. You don't have to sign to nobody, be your own label, make your own label, and just eat off the internet because everything is marketing. Everything's broken down to an algorithm to where people literally would do something else and get a response. You be why does a rapper wearing a dress? Just be bitching saying he wearing a dress. You're gonna tell your friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Everybody know that rapper for wearing that dress, but everybody know that rapper now. They would never know him if they never wore a dress or what is because everything's marketing these days. You don't have to be talented whatsoever.
So how you feel about that? How you feel about rappers that wear dresses?
I understand it. If you don't understand it and you basically hating it because you don't understand it, then you'll just feel some type of way. But the way it is, I understand it, so I use it to my benefit. Like, I help people pay me to market their stuff, and so I understand the internet. Like, the whole algorithms, how things post, and what percentage of people view this and that. Like, it's all down to the science. Basically.
So basically, he's saying that controversy is controversy because all we had to do was stand up for something and fall for nothing and be recognized. You know what I'm saying? What he's saying is that the game has changed in today's social media platform to where anything you do shocking or that stands out carries more volumes than in numbers. With us, we got fan mail. We had to sit down and go through 500 boxes of fan mail.
Right.
All they got to do is look at each site and deal with people. Like when someone pretends to get their face blown off in the studio, if someone looks like they're jumping out of a window, Will Smith got how many people to come to his birthday party because he bungee jumped at a certain age? Now, what if he did that and it took weeks for you to hear about it between the media, the magazines, and TV? Right. Now everything is instantaneous, but there is a curse with the blessing.
15 minutes of fame.
Right, because the fact that anybody can actually have a microwave mentality, like you could actually create a persona and do a pop-up show and present it to the world according to whatever their likes and dislikes are. You know how to poke a nerve and strike to make people talk about you. Because the thing I realized from being a rapper is that the only way we were going to make it as gangster rappers and underground rappers was free media attention. How do you do that? Strike a nerve in society, and they'll mention who you are. Like when Dolores Tucker, Tipper Gore, Al Gore, and Bob Dole said Bushwick Bill is misogynistic, sexist, racist, and indecent. Now, these are just songs depicting ghetto plights and things that have happened to the ghetto youth, but that was their description of me. The fact that you have senators and politicians mentioning a person from the hood that would be overlooked if he was starving, be overlooked if he needed to write books in his school to get by in this life, but all I got to do is tell society at face value. How are you going to tell me what I can't be when I am the product of your aftermath?
Wow. Yeah, that was. and so, but no, with all that being said, and so being an older artist, obviously a legend, and then you mentoring your son, if I can use that word, mentoring your son. And so what would be the differences as far as when y'all was coming out? Because I remember the album cover. Where, you're in the hospital bed and the patch on your eye.
But that wasn't Photoshop, though. That was my actual eye before they took it out for surgery. That's what people don't understand. That album cover will always have a significant purpose because right when that album cover came out is when Photoshop was introduced. So my picture is the last real picture in the history of that legacy of that era. Everything else was Photoshopped afterwards.
Right, okay. And just to stay on that topic for a little bit, and because I've heard a few different stories about how it all came to be, and so I know you probably.
Well, I'm the one who lost the eye, so anybody else that still has two eyes really
All right, and so you don't mind just kind of give us a little bit of backstory to that, as far as what were the events that led up to that album cover?
I mean, just me feeling the way I felt about things. I'm very passionate about things, and if I feel something is coming against my family and the people I love, it's like, I mean, anybody could get money, but a good name is hard to find. So it's like, my parents always raised me with that. No matter where you go, you're a reflection of who we are. They want to know who raised you. You know what I mean? So even though people call me a gangster rapper, I call it reality. Because the one thing about reality, if it was a snake in the grass, it'll bite you because you wasn't paying attention. You know what I mean? Now, if you notice the word pay attention, they didn't say be attentive. Oh, there's more than one way to skin a cat, but still at the same time, if you don't know how to pay attention to what's good for you, then what did you spend and what did you gain? So with me living my life based on my mom needs my help at this particular moment. I mean, who greater to sacrifice yourself for but the people that love you? Now, don't get me wrong. I went to Bible school. I graduated, so I understand there's a spiritual side to life. So I prayed about it. I thought about it. I walked into the restroom. The Bible was open. And the first thing I read when I turned the lights on is no greater love than to give up your life for a friend. My mind is like, if your mother is not your friend, then who is? And I remember that there was life insurance and health insurance. And I'm like, okay, I'd rather not be here so my mom could get the money because it's going to take 3 or 4 months later between counting up sales and all this other stuff when she needed the money then. Now, God is so beautiful. And the thing about God, right, is that everyone mentions the word God so many different ways that the Greeks have their Greek mythology with their mystic things about God. And it's like, at the end of the day, a higher being, a more powerful individual that doesn't need the miscellaneous things that we need to get by, but at the same time needs praise and respect. So if you look at human beings, the minute that they get distraught and bothered about something is when they're not being thanked for what they can do and appreciated for what they have done. So when they say God is a jealous God, just picture yourself working all the hours you could possibly work, but being underappreciated and overlooked. Those are your disgruntled postal people that go postal, where the word postal comes from.
Right.
But if you truly serve God, then you realize that it's about peace. You know what I'm saying? Because God is dog backwards, and people treat dogs all kinds of ways, but they claim to be close to God. You know what I'm saying? So he said, suffer not the little children, but unto me. It's better to tie a millstone around your neck and jump into the lake than lead one of my children astray. Whoever said a child had to be 2 years old? If you have a heavenly father, then you're his child at all ages because he's your father. So if we keep things within perspective, there is no such thing as religious. There is no such thing as overbearingly violent. It's about self-control, conduct, and what strand are you really cut from? Because if you could deal with pressure, then it won't bust pipes. Because if you stick a man in the ghetto, he'll learn how to think. You know what I mean? Give somebody a uncomfortable situation and see the true nature of that man, woman, or child. Because whatever you are raised with, that is your total recall. That's what you're going to go off of. If you were taught peace, then you're going to be a peaceful person. If you was taught to be strong and you have to use hate for fuel in order to survive, then that's your diesel and not regular gas. But we all make choices in life. My choice was that it was better for me to be dead than for my mom to be living, and I'm famous and she's suffering. You know what I mean? So that was my personal sacrifice, and I do believe there is a higher being because he saw through my ignorance and let me live. But he didn't make it easy for me neither. When I came to, I was next to 6 other dead people with my toe tag in the morgue with my body marked for autopsy. So on the other side, when I was talking to God and everything was going on that side, what if I would have rebelled and never came back? So God is gracious and God is benevolent, and he's very loving. Is unconditional love is the most amazing thing ever because it's agape love. It's just straight unconditional. And most human beings can't do that. And me wanting to die for my mom to live, even though she said it would have killed her if I died. So if you're looking at a child's dedication, what he believes has done wonders for him, and you look at a mother who'd rather be the one to die before her child, not the child die before her. It's like you're coming from 2 different perspectives, but it all boils down to the love and the sacrifice for family. So people look at me as crazy without understanding that was a moment in sacrifice for family, the ultimate respect that I could give my mom for not giving me up for abortion. And when they told her that I wouldn't be physically able to be dealt with, and she already had 8 kids. I'm the youngest. I'm the 9th child. And giving birth to me could have killed her, and she still allowed God to let me come here in a primitive setting in Jamaica, where she told me the whole story. She had blood up to her ears. I kept coming out, hand, feet. And then finally they had to cut her open and then turn me the right way. And I mean, and then her first time back to the doctor with me to get me a physical, they were doing construction and she tripped in the street and she said, I turned my back and faced the people. So if I fell, I could hurt me, but not you. I mean, when you know who your parent are, dog, it's like, it's a parent who you should be to your parent. You know what I mean? So my love for life is not because I live, but because my mother and father knew God and I am.
And so since then, do you feel like you've been kind of reborn, so to speak, if you had that mentality
actually,
at that time?
I don't believe in the whole reborn thing. I believe in transformation. I've been transformed because I died physically. Legal death is 45 minutes. I was dead for 3 hours and change. So for people to tell me what their experience with life and death is, and it's under an hour, God bless them. And I'm saying they wrote me off. I have a death certificate and a birth certificate because once they issue a death certificate, you can't recant it.
Boy, no, I guess not.
So for anybody else who says they've experienced what I've experienced, show me your paperwork. You know what I mean? Because that means you died. Okay, cool. You came back. Great. That means they pronounced you dead. You can't temporarily pass out and come back. That's not considered death. You know what I mean? But to die to self and to live to wisdom is a personal choice.
Well, no, that's right. And through all that chaos, and so how coherent were you when they decided to come in there and say, hey, we're about to take this picture for the album cover? Do you remember any of that? Or is it kind of like
I was coherent in an incoherent way. Because I know we had the conversation. I know what I asked the doctor. And then they asked me, did I want to take a picture, talk to the doctor, and being propped up for surgery. So I was the kind of person at that moment in my life, which the same person I am, but for the mentality is that I'm like, my music is real. Everything I do is real. I stand up for what's accurate. So if we're going to take a picture, take it. You know what I mean? But I didn't remember what the kind of picture was that I took. I remember the one with the patch on, and then I remember asking for the cell phone. But to me, when I look back at it, it's like I'm in and out of coherency. So it's like I still want to be that person that people respect for being hardcore, but at the same time, I didn't want to live a lie. So it's like I am Bushwick Bill. This really did happen, but I can't honestly tell you I knew what album cover picture was picked for the release of that record until I saw it. And when people asked me about it, I accepted my decision. If that was my decision, I accepted. But I also remember other people having discussions about how it should be done because the doctor said I wasn't going to live. So it's like, so they said for his body weight and height, 5-hour surgery, iffy, he might not make it. So we decided to take the picture. I just didn't know when we took it per se, but I knew it was taken before my surgery.
Well, it went on to become one of the most iconic album covers of hip hop history.
Yeah, because it was before Photoshop. Everybody still thinks that wasn't my eye. I mean, every time I look at that album cover, is the last time I see my eye.
God, wow, that's deep. And so we're gonna bring your son back in here also. And so what I want to ask you is, like, just the state of hip hop in general, going from an older generation to the new generation. And so you talked earlier about this being considered like a hardcore gangster rapper. And what's your opinion about the state of how rap has changed, where it's not so much what we grew up on and like Ghetto Boys, Spice One, and all, like it was more gangster, hardcore sort of rap, where now it's kind of not so much that. And so
that's not really true. I mean, just go back and name songs from 1978 all the way up to 1988, and I will show you that in the midst of that, the era of music we're in, those albums came out, but it got stifled by reality rap.
Right.
It got stifled by hardcore rap. But you had the Pee Wee Herman, the Smurf, the Doing the Wop, the Jerry Lewis. I could go on forever. We had a hip hop, a hibbity hip hop, don't stop rocking to the bang bang boogie. I mean, it was not hip hop. It wasn't one of those things where it had a format of words with all big vocabulary in it.
Right.
It was a fun loving song. So when people want to tell me about what music should be or shouldn't be, until you walk a mile in another man's moccasin, you don't know where he comes from. You know what I'm saying? And they say that the tears of a clown is that he can make you laugh while crying inside. Now, if someone could depict ghetto trauma and bring it to you in a song because they're looking at what's happening, but the people in the ghetto doesn't have the talent to mention it, then that's their escape. A person could feel things from the outside, but the one on the inside feels it. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, music is music. Nobody likes Salt and Pepper and Kid and Play and Heavy D and all that after that era.
Right.
Nobody plays Special Ed and anything after that era unless you go to certain cities and certain places where the music touched people. Matter of fact, JJ Fad sold a whole bunch of records and they said la 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 la. I mean, what? Okay, so why am I blaming today's kids? I mean, how many records you want me to name where people did not use vocabulary?
Man, that needs to be publicized. What you just now said.
It went viral.
Yeah.
So you can look it up. What your number like 50,000 hits.
Yeah, because I apologize to all of them for being on the bandwagon. And I apologize to the mumble rappers for being on the bandwagon and saying that they wasn't qualified artists. When I look back to the songs that inspired me, all of them was not Rakim and KRS-One. There was so much other music out there that depending on your age and things you were going through, it made sense to you. Like when Soulja Boy did his dance. I mean, it made sense to kids in that era. Right. Everybody else would be like, what are you doing? That's not music. Okay, then. When Motown was being played, there was people telling them that wasn't music. You know what I mean? When country singers are doing their thing, that's not real country. That's not real R&B. That's not real hip hop. Anything that is too real for people to accept is kind of like the old TV show, The Outer Limits. An alien is something that you're unfamiliar with. So anything that no one has been through or know, they've alienated themselves from it. You are from another planet because I don't know where you're coming from because my life was not like that. So what are you complaining about? And it's all about choice. It's all about, see, a child does not choose their parents and the parents cannot choose their child. So we're both in an oxymoron, stuck in the middle, and we hope that we love each other and get through it.
Right, that's a good way to put
it. And so I can't choose to be a godfather of hip hop or an OG of hip hop. Obviously, I did something that you appreciate, but people need to understand. There was a generation where people walked to the store. Now there's Uber Eats. Does that mean the person who walked to the store is so old school that they don't qualify as a human being anymore? Or it takes their creativity away because they'd rather walk than drive? Soon they're going to have, they already have things coming to your house by the copter thingy, and then they're going to have cars flying. And it's just, at the end of the day, appreciate the era and the moment that you're living in, because if technology and knowledge doesn't grow, then we should be all backwards. We should still be like the 300. We should still have no form of communication other than what I think, feel, and do, and the way you look at me after I've done it. Which is Genghis Khan and everybody else like that. They did ruthless things so people feared what could happen. But guess what? If you take a person from their natural land, from their natural language, name a ship Jesus Christ, bring them over here after tampering with God's word, which in Revelation, he said, if you change one letter or dot of my word, all these curses will be added unto you. You know which people are cursed. If you believe that there's someone who holds people accountable, then you could see it for what it is. But I said all that to say this, is that we have to be accountable for our choices. You can't look at from 2018 to 1920 and feel like you can't learn something from that. We've been in a recession longer than the Great Depression. But nobody pays attention to that. Why? Because there's more technology and more things to distract you. The distraction of back in the day is watch out for the Russians. The distractions of today is don't let that hood rapper move in next door. So while you're too busy looking at me, the Hollywood shuffle is going on in D.C. It's all good. But I pay taxes just like everybody else. You know what I mean? We all do what's right. You know what I mean? My mom and dad don't owe the government taxes. They raised us the right way. You know what I mean? And for people to judge you based on your lyrics, I would feel it was uncomfortable if I wasn't well read, because Edgar Allan Poe was considered odd because all he talked about was death. Right. Then you look at the Wright brothers, two normal guys who decide we could fly. And here we are traveling this way. So the things that you think are crazy, the things that you think are different, the things that you think that separate us is actually what brings us together. Because if there wasn't something to talk about, and if you wasn't educated how to ask the question, we would not have a format right now.
That's a dope answer. And I mean, it doesn't surprise me that you would answer that way, because obviously, like, when y'all was coming up, y'all was getting a lot of backlash from different regions and different parts of the country that wasn't necessarily.
They said Southern rap was not acceptable. If you wasn't from New York or LA, you was not a rapper.
Right. And now it's Southern rap is the standard.
Now Southern rap is the blueprint.
Exactly.
Because everybody in New York and LA didn't actually get rich by doing it on their own. See, they looked at Southern rappers as salmon swimming upstream, but they have to remember, not everyone gets caught by the bear.
You got some good quotes. This is these are bars. I'm like, this is where the bars come from. You know what I'm saying? I got you a real red.
I know you come from crazy.
I got some crazy, real good music. Yeah,
diversity. Yeah, and so YK, tell the people where they can find you on all the social platforms, Instagram.
They can find me at Young No YUNGKNXW on all platforms.
He's so smart.
And then
I'm serious. He told me about the internet. I didn't know nothing about it between him and his sisters. I mean, it's like that's how I learned everything. Find out how many people are impersonating me.
A lot.
And collecting money off the internet. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I've been listening. I'm like, yo, because the thing is, everything's moving fast paced on the internet. If you have a following on the internet, they're not booking you for shows, not doing this and that, because social media presence alone brings them money.
Did you know that even you have to be verified, even though you're a voice in a city where people know who you are, but someone could take your whole persona and anything filmed here and put it on the site and get blue chip verified, and you can't even say that you're you?
Yeah, I heard it's crazy.
But the crazy part about it is identity theft went from something simple to where they could rob anything from anyone because of the super information highway leaves you ass out if you don't protect yourself.
Right, which is crazy. How you think y'all would have did if like all this social media was around back in y'all day?
It would have been even bigger because the things they did
would have been phenomenal.
It would have been insane. just along with the album cover went viral on Twitter and Instagram.
Right, but we're a lot more PC than we was back in those days too, though. So how you think like people? You probably got a little more.
No, I had dial-up.
You said a lot of.
I told them I was like I had dial-up. I had to go to. I'm like, no, all you gotta do is press something now when your presence is known. But the beautiful thing about growing up in a different era than my son is that I could teach him the patience of what technology makes you like lose patience for.
Yeah, it makes you anxious. Like, there's a lot of people addicted to social media. Like, I have homies who like literally make a living off streams. Like,
and they lose their mind if their computer don't work.
And they anxious. Like the thing about them.
Yeah,
the thing about them is like they have such people, like such a mass following, people watching them. They're anxious all the time. Like he always have anxiety. My homies always have anxiety.
But what about this though? Right?
Like, I learned how to like meditate and stuff.
But check this out. What if a big magnet comes over the earth right now, and you're so caught up in technology? I told you have to learn how to be a Flintstone in the world of Jetsons. Because I mean, there's people who take their kids camping and they know how to hunt at 9. They know how to rub 2 sticks together. They know exactly what to eat in a forest to survive till you get back to civilization. Today's society is so caught up in a microwave mentality that they had to regurgitate to a Flintstone, half the world would kill themselves.
You right,
because they do not know how to function.
It's why I sell many. It's why I sell so many national tracks, because I don't use Fruity Loops and I don't use digital-based programs. I produce everything organically.
Yeah, all that stuff is inorganic, and it's like everything has a time limit.
You rocking moose?
Everything has a time limit on it. Like when I was in Cali and stuff, and I was like on Fairfax, they had like a bench. It was like your 15 minutes of fame are up. Cause like out there, that's how it is. Like it's a bench that literally said that. It's a bench out there on Fairfax, and it was in Fairfax. Like your 15 minutes of fame are up, and then like that's how it is now. Like literally, like you could be the most talked about thing for about a week or two. The next trending topic take over, and you're a nobody.
But like, you want to know something funny? When I was your age, it was if people remembered you in 15 seconds. Y'all got 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm proud of y'all. Because they'd be like, the average human being attention span is 15 seconds. So if you're not doing the music this way, that when you don't grab them in the first 15 seconds, we're dropping you from the list.
See, that's how it is. That's how it is too.
He's saying 15 minutes. He has overkill time now. You know what I mean? Because we have to get an album done in 1 week. If he's talking about 15 minutes, that means you're on an R&B budget. You got like 3 months to do an album.
I never dropped a project or released a project. I've been dropping singles and been touring and like doing shows just off singles. Like I wanted to get that way because like since I built up like how I do my images like with limited and only quality work. Like I don't oversaturate it. It's quantity over quality. You know what? Quality over quantity. My fault.
Right. So that's almost sound.
Yeah. I drop a video a year. I drop a video. My first video was 2016. I waited to drop another video 2017. Each time the video got even crazier and crazier. Like I took time out and really like learned my craft, understood myself as an artist. Who am I as an artist? What I'm trying to tell to these people, what message I'm trying to bring, and how I'm gonna bring longevity to my career within itself. So I think that people want to be in a moment, just like snap a finger. I want to be famous. I want to be rich. I want to be a star. I want to have a hit single. This and that. I'm like, bro, you have a hit single right on the radio, be the most known person, not on anything to your name. Everybody playing music, everybody jamming your music. Oh, so and so, what's up? Taking pictures, all this stuff, but you're not making nothing because everybody own you. They own your trademark. They own your masters to your songs. They own all this, and they own ASCAP, your BMI. They own everything to you. But all you is that known figure. That's it. All you got to your name is that you're known. Hello, take a picture. Nice to see you. I can't believe I'm right in your presence, but you're broke.
Well, you think there's a lot of people who just want to be more famous than like financially successful? No, it's like that's what it brings. Being famous brings financial stability.
That's really what they want.
That's what they want because being known brings you money if you know how to do it.
Because if you know how to do it.
You know how to do it. People that's known.
What about the responsibility of fame, though? See, that's the one thing you get to ask him is like, do you think fame gives you a responsibility? See, talking about the money is one thing. A fool and his money will always depart, no matter what color, race, or creed you are.
Right.
But does fame give you responsibility?
It does, because you're responsible for a lot of people now look up to you and follow you. Because I watch people literally, when this certain artist friend I had within his group, once he died, literally fans committed suicide, killed themselves, cut themselves, all that stuff because he has that much pull. Like, he caught followings. They have people literally the tattoos on his body. People copied the tattoos and put them in their arms. I'm watching everything happen. I'm like, this is insane. But it's really that crazy now.
But see, look at the difference between generations. In his generation of the super information highway, and listen how it sounds, super information, okay, then it doesn't qualify for someone that has fans and people that love him for them to die. And that shows that you have pull, because I could go as far back as John Lennon dying in 1981 on my birthday, and I go to school and the kids were doing the same thing, but we didn't consider people having pull. We considered what kind of magnetism does this person have to make you forget yourself and lose yourself in their existence.
And that's a part of social media, because other people have whole social media personas based on one individual, basing their whole life off that individual, capturing their whole life and everything while losing in touch with themselves and their own life, because they're so in tune with that person's life. Everybody's so in tune with what's going on. Like this, think about this. Every reality show that has drama has never went off air. Season after season after season, because people love drama. Without drama, nothing sells. If everything is peace and utopia.
No, but see, that's what they want you to believe, because if you really think about it, right? Out of all the rappers out there bragging about certain things, doing certain things, then dying on the internet while doing it, Kendrick Lamar actually got awards for his lyricism.
That's he got a award for poetry, like a poetical award, like a Pulitzer or something like that.
Yeah, he got a Pulitzer. So think about it, right? So if you just want fame and you just want money, or do you want the longevity that comes with being a credible artist?
True artist, a true artist, not just a rapper. It's different between a rapper and an artist. A rapper just like that's you. You put yourself in one lane. An artist creates regardless of art, like art in all forms, merch, designs. Painting, creative direction, all type of all that's being an artist. You're not limiting yourself.
Like for instance, Prince. Prince was an all-around artist.
Right.
Written, arranged, composed, produced by Prince.
How do you feel about rappers that don't write their own rhymes?
Name an R&B that writes their own song. I mean, why are they so hard on rappers?
They hard on rappers because
double standards.
Yeah, why they so hard on rappers? Because you always hear everyone writing something for an R&B artist. Matter of fact, for Motown, wasn't it Marvin Gaye and Smokey Robinson and a few of the people that wrote everything? Wasn't it a group of white guys called the Funk Brothers that actually played the music? So when you're going to tell me about that, then you have to research and see where it came from. History is repeating itself. That's basically all it is.
All it is now it's publicized, because like they didn't have social media things to talk about it, so now people have something to talk about. As long as you get people to talk about, they're going to.
Or they're just attracted.
Exactly.
Simple as that.
That too.
Once you're at the top for so long, they're gonna try anything to bring you down. Period. When you hit the top and the pinnacle of your career, like right now with Drake, he's the biggest artist in the world. At the top of his career, literally in his prime, when he's like just getting older, but he's in his prime. It's like he only getting better. Thing is, he's at the top so long, people so like mad at him at the top. They're gonna take certain things like bring him down and try to bring him to his level, because they're like, bro, you so high up, bro. We can't get to that.
But has anybody get mad at Michael Jackson because people wrote songs for him, but the way he performed it made you feel where he was coming from?
Yeah.
Like R. Kelly.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
R. Kelly wrote on a lot of Michael albums.
And what about this, right? If you think about like all of the people who have had songs written for them, like Madonna, "Justify My Love" was written by Lenny Kravitz.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
It's a lot of artists.
I have another one for you. Sinead O'Connor, "Nothing Compares to You" was written by Prince. So like I'm saying, if I'm an artist, should I just write for myself, or is being a great artist is being able to influence other people and write for other people and have longevity in the fact that you are a creative force, not just a voice?
And royalties.
You gotta choose. You gotta choose whether your personality is what you're going to be known by, or your music. Because your personality can last forever too, but your music can affect people in different ways.
Like Cardi B, right now, the reason Cardi B is like most known female artist and biggest artist, because she speaks her mind. She says things that people wouldn't say. That makes people feel uncomfortable.
But she also fought on reality shows, like you were saying, which cause drama.
You
know what I like about her? The thing I like about Cardi B is that she could have a fight with herself, with her decisions in life, and that's considered drama to the world. Because she might walk out of a car towards the restaurant, stand outside for a second, talk to somebody, decide whether or not she wants to walk in, get back in the car. Now she's considered undecisive.
Yep.
What if I don't want the food from that restaurant? What if it's too crowded to wait for the food there?
On TMZ. Cardi B doesn't like
what's the elements of a hit song nowadays then?
That's a simple format. This is what it is. Okay, in the radio right now these days, verses is 12 bars. Usually back in the day, it used to be 16 bars of verses, a minute, 14 minutes, 15 seconds. So all they doing now is having 8-bar hooks and 12-bar verses. That's why you remember the hook more than the verse. So it's like, it's catchy thing in your head, you know, like for a fact, that verse you ain't gonna remember, but that hook, that's your favorite thing about the song, and the beat sticks to it. The beat stands out. It captures and grabs your attention. That's why the 808 is so big.
Do you know what group did the same thing in the way that you just formatted that?
I would not lie to say I do.
It's the Beatles. I want to hold your hand. I want to hold your hand. You know what I mean? There was more of a hook than actual.
Yeah, it's catchy. Like it's simplistic.
And
like,
back then they called those jingles, by the way. They used to only use them for Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, they be like because you remember them. They call jingles because you remember them. Simple
exactly.
And
people used to have a job just writing jingles.
Peep this. Think of this. Okay, the artist Lil Pump. He went platinum off a song with Gucci Gang. He literally sang Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang over and over and over and over again. That simplistic song went platinum multiple times. I'm telling people, it's not. People overthinking it.
No, but hear me out. What does that tell you?
Like that.
But what does that tell you? Does that tell you that people would rather be so out of touch that they want to be able to hear the same thing over and over again redundantly and feel good about it? That's like me not encouraging you and telling you that you're not smart and you never will be smart, instead of just always looking at that child and be like, you're the greatest, most powerful, smartest person in the world. It's up to them to accept that fuel, that charge, and grow from there.
Right.
Because you can encourage somebody to be the greatest.
Yeah.
Or, the way some people work, if you tell them that they ain't nothing, they have to prove to you that they are something. So, at the end of the day, how do you know how to approach it? And that's how I look at the rap. If you could say Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, and there's enough people whose brain can comprehend that, and that's as far as they could go in the soup line, then good. I like a smorgasbord. I like choices.
I feel you. I think choices is good, especially in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? How old is you again, man?
I'm 22.
Yeah, because you're a smart young guy, man.
I'm in college. I'm in college as well. Psychology major.
Okay.
And doing marketing.
Dope. And you from Houston?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, that's dope, man. Like, yeah, you got a good head on your shoulders, man, which don't surprise me, given who your dad is. But I'm like, yeah, like he over here going in. All right. And so what's up next? You said you put out projects every year.
Okay, this is how I did it. All right. So at first I was dropping like a single a month, and then like I don't really do features because I don't need features. Like I do numbers by myself, like 100K, 80K, like by myself, because like I know my music is very well, like very good. Like I already worked hard and wrote music for so long and stuff, so I know my style. I know what it sticks to me. I write songs in 10 to 15 minutes. Like I finish. It's a process now. Like it's clockwork. So my main thing I focus on now is straight timing and marketing. So my project, my features, my project, production credits, my project, and really taking time out and constructing it right, because like I never dropped a solid body of work, and every artist looked at by their last project, by their project, their body of work they made.
Right.
So that's why I didn't want to I could have easily jumped into and dropped put a bunch of crappy songs together and be like, oh, here y'all go.
Project, right.
And then they look back on it like, but that was YK last project. I don't want to expect nothing else because last project was a hit.
But you want to know something funny? If you came to the record business at the age I did, you were only as good as your last single.
Hey, so I'm on the right path.
And now the single's the standard.
And
that's
then
what I'm saying, but you was only as good as your last single. He built his internet presence on single songs. That's why he can't say he has a body of work. But then I looked at him and been like, okay.
He's like
when I give a record label a body of work, they be like, if you have 2 or 3 singles on there, we're doing great. So I'm like, if you got over 8 or 9 singles, you really just have to put a full album together and be like, this is the whole album. You ain't just got to go song for song. You can just press play.
That's what I'm doing now, because he's like,
he wanted to work on a complete project. I'm like, you got over 100,000 hits on all of these songs, but you want to start with new ones? That's hustling backwards. In my era, you had hot singles, you gave them the album.
Like, I got songs of like 150K, like 100K. So like them songs is like my biggest grossing songs. When I do my shows, like them most lit, they know word for word. I'm putting those songs on the project and then giving them like 6 new tracks with like features and different production credits. So like they getting new music, but they getting the music they love too. So they're gonna keep that replay value. And I'm gonna drop that as a whole compilation together.
And then Columbus artists need to know this is a service that resource has been available in the city since I signed my Universal deal like 6 years ago. I've been in and out of here with every manner of level, from regional to national. People I brought in from Toronto, people that are coming from the Virgin Islands. It's just, you have to be willing to put your music out. And you can't keep functioning in a very, very small pond for so long. You're going to be contaminated with the same material. Your songs are going to start to sound the same.
Right.
The reason I get, I guess, a better feeling out of acts that I do business with is that they have diversity, because they move around the country, actually. And because he moves around so much, he's constantly being exposed to this knowledge or this opportunity or this experience. So when he writes his music, it's reflective of a broader.
The biggest thing I can say that I feel artists should do is really like travel outside the city at least once. Because what changed my perspective on everything that really helped my career and helped me like really move forward was like, after I graduated high school, like, I get to myself, I flew to New York, and like I stayed with my aunt in Brooklyn for like a few days. And And so like while out there interviews and like photo shoots and stuff and like seeing Times Square and seeing everything around me, like after being accustomed to Houston way and everything going on around there and seeing a different perspective and like, bro, life is more to life than just what I see in my neighborhood, people around me and I associate myself with. And I went by myself. Like when I travel most time by myself, but I know meet people that I know in the states I go to. Cause like I'd rather be alone because I have understanding. I know I'm capable of, I know around me, I know I'm responsible for what I do. Having people around me, people unpredictable, next thing you know, their actions are costing me because I already have my own brand and attached to my dad name if I mess up. So it's like, I can't mess it up. But basically, when I went to New York and seen everything and did that photo shoots and went to Times Square and just looking around and seeing all this and like taking it all in, I'm like, bro, I'm just graduated high school. I took my own trip, my own money, came to New York and really just took time out to really see life and see a different perspective on life myself. And I'm like, this how it's supposed to be. This how life supposed to be, carefree, happy, not worried about what's next. Just know that everything is right. And that's how I'm like, okay, that's how I live my life. After that, came back to Houston, made a game plan. Towards the end of that year, my song started booming. I started getting numbers like buy, sell 20K, 30K on songs, and it just picked up steam from there. And I kept that traffic going since then. And like I wrote down, I'm real big on like the law of attraction. What you give, what you get. So like when I was like 18, I had wrote down. It was just one summer. I'm like, okay, I want to make like $5,000 in 2 months or whatever. I want to make like $5,000. I want to buy a new car in a month. End of the summer, I want to do all this stuff. So like I wrote them goals down, wrote that down, and by the end of the summer, I had like about $5,000. Bought me a new car, had money for clothes and all that stuff for school and all that, paid for my own stuff. That's my people for nothing. I worked hard for myself. I'm like, okay, simple as that is by thinking it, then applying it. So I thought and I applied, and then it started to work out for me. So I'm like, okay, this is how you're supposed to do it. I've been living that same process for the past 4 years. And my life just got better. I wrote down before that 2015, I told you when things started going up. In November of 2015, I wrote down, I said, I never did a South by Southwest show. I wrote down, I said, I want to perform at South by Southwest, and I wrote a couple other goals. I didn't have nobody call me, no bookies or none of that. So then by the time March came, I like a month beforehand, people started hitting me up. And then by the time South by Southwest hit, I had 5 shows in 3 days. Like major acts for Uzi, PNB Rock, everybody at XXL. I never got booked for South by Southwest ever. That's my first year going 5 shows. Like all that. That's my first year going 5 shows, 3 days. And like I wrote it down in November. Like I want to perform something. I'm going to perform like I am. Because like think of manifestation, you have to already speak it to existence. It's already there. Like I am with affirmations. So I do affirmations every morning.
Question. Yeah. I don't really believe in the whole law of attraction thing. Because,
well, I mean, no,
I'm just being honest with you. Like, don't change who you are from me because I'm already stuck on my own thing. So it's like this, right? When I was raised in my era, it was make a goal, a plan, execute, accomplish.
And go. Yeah.
You take all of that and just give it a catchphrase. Law of attraction.
Law of attraction.
Let me sit here now and see what happens.
Yeah, nah. See, people be thinking like that.
No. Hear me out. I'm from a third world country.
Yeah.
You can't tell me what hard times. Matter of fact, you went to New York where I was raised, where I got my name Bushwick from. Go to a third world country and survive drinking the water. But know that you could die, but survive drinking the water. You want to really know what strong will is? There's no law of attraction in it. It's strong will. You either have the will to live, the will to die, the will to make it. Why you think on the Chronic I said there's 3 types of people in the world. Those who wonder what happened, those who don't know what happened, and people that make it happen. That's it. That's the only people in the world in a nutshell. That's it. So because you set a goal and plan to accomplish those goals, that's why you met that criteria.
Yeah.
Because you could have said, I want this and I'm going to aim for this. But if you do not apply anything, because law of attraction, I just got to be a magnet and things come to me. I'm sorry. I look at things in the finite definition of the word.
Yeah.
Attraction means I'm a magnet. Yeah. This comes towards me.
Yeah.
It doesn't say I will draw things to me that is needed. There's a way to approach a conversation to own the statement.
Okay.
So the things that you were fortunate to be blessed with was the things that you honed in and drew towards you as strength, and then it became that accomplishment.
Basically, not give credit to something else that
you don't know exists.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you could be talking about Beelzebub when you're talking about law of attraction. It's like the best thing the devil ever did was to make people think you don't exist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So come on, man. All I'm saying is know who you are. If the scripture says that you are all God's children, you are a child of God. Well, you're a God of your own existence, but you have a Father who gave you an existence. But the world that you're in, like the group Diggable Planets, mean that we're all individual planets in a solar system of life.
Yeah.
So however you collide or maneuver in your solar system decides how far you get in life and on what you obtain and what you shake off. Because the simple thing is this: in life, there's a stake. You either look at a T-bone steak. You cut off the fat, take out the bone, get to the meat of the subject, or you could try to eat around everything and see what your digestive system could handle. Now you got a different approach because you had health, energy, and strength, but now you applied something to your body that wasn't fuel. See, there's things that you think that could fuel you. There's things that you eat that could fuel you, but your will and desire is ultimately why you're here.
You ever thought about writing a book?
Well, as long as God gives me the privilege to live on this earth and share his wisdom with his great people, I'm just privileged to be able to share.
All right, dope, man. Yeah, you got a lot of wisdom, right? I'm like, that would, I feel like I just went to church and, just got
well, when two or more together, there he is, right?
Yeah, there it is, man.
So whoever said it wasn't. I believe in churches without walls. You know what I mean?
Right, absolutely.
All right, so I'll let y'all go. What you been up to lately, man? How's your music?
Oh man, I'm just here grinding it out, man. You just got through today. Where we at today?
Well, we can thank the social club, right?
Yeah, we did.
We thank the social club for bringing me down here and introducing me to Big Moose and Bishop Shakur, my homie Bishop Shakur in the building.
What's up, man, Bishop? What's up, man?
Bishop was, you know what I'm saying, when he got the phone call from Wally that they was going to be in the city, and he basically called me, was like, hey, man. Wally said, we got somebody coming to the studio, and I'm coming. I don't really know who it is. If he say we need me to be there, I'm there. I don't care who it is. It could have been a first-time artist that never recorded before. We approach it the same way. You know what I'm saying? But it happened to be Bill, and we looked at it and evaluated what was going on. And energy is energy. Mm-hmm. And none of this was predestined. We didn't plan this and throw this out here.
We supposed to be back in Texas like last week. We supposed to be in Ohio for like 2 or 3 days max.
Yeah, but see, my thing is this, right? It's like when you have kids and you're famous, you're the most misunderstood person because the goals of your job keeps you away from the ones you love. Mm-hmm. And then separation and all kinds of things happen. So I'm not one to try to explain myself to people because there's so many different sides of a coin that only has two because it has edges and rivets. And if you look at every detail of that coin, there's a lot more to it than two sides. So when I see that he's happy working on music and I've never really had the opportunity to help show my support towards his career, I would gladly sacrifice and stay the time out here and let him work on as much as he wants to do because at the end of the day, he doesn't have to be me, but he could be greater than. And that's what I aim for. Be the best me that I couldn't be. You know what I mean? Whatever the music business taught me and didn't do for me, make sure it don't happen to you. That's how we know that the law of attraction thing will work because you're not attracted to the same things I'm attracted to because I'm attracted to just, if I have the will to work, I will work and I will believe in you until that point. But if it doesn't come true, you have to know when to let go. Me, if I give my word in my heart, I don't know when to let go because I believe from coming from a third world country that everything that looks bad ain't bad and the darkest hour comes before day. If I just hold on, then I'll see what it's really worth. And sometimes to my own fault and hurt, I give people more credit and more love than they deserve. But I still feel like this. I did not have to be alive after June 19th, 1991. So what am I bickering and complaining for? I have the ability to help. I'm going to help. And it's a smaller sacrifice than what lost my eye. All I got to do is give time, effort, support.
Yeah, and that's what y'all doing.
You know what I mean? Because you can't love someone who don't know how to be loved. So I don't try to explain love to near person. Because if you don't know what love is and how to be loved, I greatly appreciate you. See what I'm saying?
That's it. Yeah, they can't comprehend it. They can't comprehend it.
Some people think love is weakness. Some people think love is a con. So depending on who you are, you could be too nice to be believable. Or, or you could just be too caring to not get caught slipping. It's like for everything you do with the word love, people looks at an angle and a loophole to try to play over you somehow or to try to take something from you, even if it's your confidence. See, my thing is this. People could steal any worldly possession I have as long as they don't touch my soul and my will. I'm good.
Everybody in here like, yeah. Okay.
The battle upstairs. The DJ battle.
For sure.
The DJ.
So we're gonna go check out the DJ battle. We want to thank the social club, and we want to thank everyone here for allowing us to be ourselves. And we want to thank you for bringing us to the radio station. We got Bishop Shakur. We got Mooch right there, Big Moose in the building.
Big Moose. We got
And the Ohio Media School, yeah, Ohio.
Go do something with yourself. If you out here, you watching this show, and you want to do something.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like
come to Ohio Media School.
You got to support this because the difference between smart and ignorant is the medium to know the difference. So come to the media school and learn your clarity.
No way. There it is. You know what I'm saying? On that note, thank you to the homie Bushwick Bill, YK for joining us at the Loud and Clear Show, WDG Columbus Underground Station, home of the unsigned artists. You already know what it is. I'm gonna come check y'all out in a minute. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all next time.
Y'all want to go to the bathroom? See what's going
Your name must be Angel, right? They said you wasn't working, but I knew you'd be working tonight. Don't be alone, no. I haven't heard much, but I've heard some. I don't mean no harm, no. Though I look rough, don't mean